That's that. What's neat, I guess, about it is you say, well, how do we deal with it? How do we cope with that? It's seemingly so relativistic. It's a mystic mountain. It's 30 light years high, which is the way you go. How do we cope with that? This relativistic notion. Well, I think the key in a way, at least on planet Earth here, is that the one thing we do have in common, anything, is the same sky. Above every inhabitant on planet Earth, anyone who's living here today and has ever lived here in the history of mankind, has found themselves under the same stars. Those are the same stars. I look at the same moon as Julius Caesar looked at when he went out about to get looked at the moon. Right? These are the same stars. There's a unifying power there, I think, in that as individual subjects we can bring those relativistic differences and inscribe them upon a common cosmic canvas, if you will. It allows us to see diversity in sameness, see the philosophical implication in this universal picture we get through astronomy. We're already starting to see some of this, I think. There's a phrase that people throw around called spaceship Earth. This idea that the first time we were able to capture photos of the Earth as this blue marble hanging in space with the Apollo missions, people realized, wow, this is quite fragile. We have this fragile ecosystem ourselves, not just environments on Earth, but the Earth itself flying through space, 30 kilometers a second, pointing out the sun going around the center, supermassive black hole, center of the galaxy itself moving through space, allows you to consider things a little bit differently. Million foot away perspective. Astronaut Chris Hadfield refers to it as that allows us to frame political, environmental, technological movements. How do we live on less? Let's consider space exploration, cosmic real estate. We have to move elsewhere at some point. You can frame these other arguments charged in this way. JFK, in his arms speech, said today, every inhabitant of this planet, the first time politicians spoke in planetary terms, every inhabitant of this planet must consider the day in which this planet may no longer be habitable. Speaking, of course, of the possibility of nuclear destruction. And you can see there's very much political and philosophical charges behind this recognition of the Earth here hanging in space. Incredible. What I would refer to as sort of peace on Earth, peace offers, in the sense that a lot of funding has been cut from government space industries and that, and so because of that, it demands a lot of international cooperation. If we wanted to go the government route and go and explore space, it demands cooperation across different nations. And so it's, by virtue of that, it speaks to a piece that can possibly be offered, if you will. Artistic component, obviously, see up here, encouraging people of all different academic disciplines to again engage with one thing that's common to all of us in an artistic fashion. I was doing astrophotography this summer. Went down there and captured photos of the night sky and different wavelengths. Again, it speaks to the varying perspectives. This picture is not any truer or falser than this one. One which captures X-ray images, one captures this type of wavelength. You get different images of the cosmos. That's why these colors are great. They're all these varying colors. It's not a distortion of reality. That's how it exists. Our eyes are used to kind of lousy cameras at times. So the camera allows us to capture wavelengths that are there to allow them to be captured. So again, I think it's important to recognize the commonality of the sky and describing the differences that we have upon it as a coping mechanism for it. 21st century global enlightenment is a phrase that Perimeter Institute in Waterloo, Ontario, kind of refers to these public in-reach programs. They're doing space science, doing astrophysics, and they encourage writers, literary theorists, all kinds of artists in different fields, philosophers come in and give spins to the types of work that they're doing. Public in-reach come in and generate public interest for space and allow voices to be heard, otherwise wouldn't be. And the cosmos speaks to a powerful uniting power in that sense. It's also talking that people can't really remain neutral on, which is what I always like. You can't really kind of care about your human existence and your purpose on planet Earth. Something that you like to do, at least at certain points here, if you offer some thought on why is it in here, what is it that I care about, even if it's at a local level. Everyone from, I consider the plumber to the prime minister, president, is somewhat interesting. I've had tons of conversations at bus stops with people where all of a sudden you find people all kind of initiated talking about the cosmos, and you find that they have some sort of opinion, right? Whether it's just a science fiction book that they've read or something, but it has this power to draw people. It's like dinosaurs. Most people are somewhat interested in dinosaurs, or at least it's going to turn your head when you're talking about it. So it's neat. There's considerations at the point of the Copernican revolution where we realized that we were no longer at the center of the universe. Now we're going around the sun is moving around galaxies much later. That our sense of space was shaken. Suddenly we needed to root ourselves in different ways on planet Earth because our knowledge of the universe has grown so vast we realized that we were at the center, that there was an intimidating, foreboding charge to that. People didn't know how to handle that. How do I root myself and give myself purpose when I realize I'm this moment of dust hanging in the sunbeams, for all that makes sense, right? And we have seemingly no significance. How do you cope with that? And I think that's kind of what this cosmic consciousness, astrophilosophy, I'm encouraging, allows for collaboration and communication across fields and disciplines, allows people to take an individual or within their group to inscribe a particular perspective onto the sky. As opposed to walking around campus, if you see all too often, I'm guilty of it myself, walking around like this. I realize in the daytime you can't see the stars. The point being, that's sort of a modern 21st century version of I can't cope with this. I can bury myself in my phone. Unless you're using one of those sky apps, then I approve. It's okay. But a thing to consider, kind of can't get out of that corner so often and say, it's not just, I don't want to cope with this, or common response is, oh, it's so pretty, this is very nice, this is look at the sun, isn't the universe pretty? Which is one response, but it's also, not allowing you to cope with it. It's true vast. How else can we go about it? It's supposed to be putting it aside, saying, that's a pretty photo, back to the Facebook account. What is it that I'm bringing as an individual perspective of my group, my family, to that table? And I would even go as far as to argue that, in some sense, the lack of political consciousness, pervasive at times, now is directly wed, in some regard, to a numbing of what it is that matters most to people. In questions of cosmic existence, things are at stake. When Hamlet stands there beneath the overhanging firmament, the majestic roof fretted with golden fire, his excellent canopy, what a piece of work is man to be or not to be, he's trying to grapple and cope with this cosmic existence. There's a lot at stake. Kant says, I'm connected immediately with my existence. There's something here that he's trying to draw. I'm lactose intolerant, but still trying to come to terms with the Milky Way. So there's this, again, struggle to cope. The fate of the universe itself holds up. As far as we know, as today, it's accelerating faster now than I began the talk, which speaks to the fact that it will span so large and sky will be so dark and so far from the stars. We'll turn cold and die. As will we. Everyone in the room, everyone that's currently here on planet Earth, depending on what next or this post, will turn cold and die at some point. I'm not saying, when you wake up in the morning, think of that every morning. But have this, like go on this cosmic perspective and bring what you can as opposed to just totally having to push it aside because it is so grand. Questions of time, questions of religion come into this, which is perfectly healthy. The very etymology of the word cosmos means order. The very etymology of the word universe means to turn into one. There's this artistic analogy for one's life. Really what we're trying to do and ask these questions is to craft a cosmic narrative for ourselves. Consistency with your own character during your path on this dance floor of planet Earth, right? Until the day you die. How is it that can develop consistency? And I think the very words of cosmos and the universe speak to that challenge that people have. So I'll finish with a quote that Jack Handy, a comedian, Saturday Night Live days, he said, I was laying in my bed, and when I lay in my bed, I stare at the stars, pondering human existence. I think to myself, man, I really need to fix that roof. Which is funny in itself, but what's interesting about it is, I think really what astrophilosophy is speaking to is, if anything, our feelings, but whatever we do, don't seal up that roof. Like, rip the roof off the house, not literally, right? Rip your head out of your phone, right? And make sure that common cosmic canvas is there. And allow you to speak and have voices heard, and more empathy, really, across every other human being who's struggling in their search for cosmic purpose here on Earth. And the minute that you seal up that roof, I think you run the risk of taking yourself too seriously, taking ourselves too seriously. We forget that, we are babbling buffoons on the dirt flying to the universe, right? This is a perspective to have and to consider, because if you take yourself far too seriously, I think you run the risk. Einstein had a quote, he said, we are very small stars indeed. Don't forget this, that there may be bigger, more important stars that may be virtuous and happy. And I think we won't seal out that roof and take ourselves too seriously and jeopardize the possibility of becoming one of those stars that is happy and is virtuous. So, thank you very much.